Ever since Graham Platner withdrew his U.S. Senate candidacy, the Maine Democratic Party has been scrambling to figure out who will fill his seat. Now that declaration of intent deadline has passed for anyone seeking the Democratic nomination for U.S. Senate, here are some key dates to keep in mind.
On Thursday, July 16th, pre-registration for participants who wish to attend their county meetings will close at 5 p.m., according to the Maine Democratic Party. Special nominating meetings will take place across the state July 18th through the 19th. If you're looking to get verified as a voter, you can go to the Maine Democratic Party website. Those county delegate nomination meetings will be announced on the Maine Democratic Party website. However, local officials encourage you to keep up with your county Democratic Party Facebook page, as some announcements on locations and times have been released. Monday, July 20th, by 11:59 p.m., the 500 valid signatures due from Senate candidates must be submitted. The Maine Democratic Party says within those 500 signatures, at least 50 from no fewer than 8 counties must be included. Then on Saturday, July 25th, the Maine Democratic Party nominating convention will be held at the Cross Insurance Center in Bangor, starting at 9 a.m. The process of how voting will go in each round is right there on your screen. According to the MDP, a candidate may withdraw from consideration at any time before or during the nominating convention by providing a written notice to the Maine Democratic Party chair via email. Just 2 days after, on Monday, July 27th, the Maine Democratic Party will face their deadline to name the new Democratic U.S. Senate nominee with the Secretary of State's office. For more information on the dates ahead or more, follow the link on our website and mobile app. There, you'll also find counties who've announced their special nominating meeting dates and times.